Over the last year, I interviewed some of the sharpest financial minds in the country. I'm talking about a portfolio manager who's determined to build 100 crore corpus. When I'd met him, he'd already clocked some 40-50 crores. An IT professor who spent a decade reverse engineering the perfect retirement. A CA who gets his clients to legally pay zero tax on 24 lakh rupees income. So I asked all of them the same question. What do you know that most people don't? And this is what they said. Hi, I'm Arunima and you're watching How Bizarre, where I look at all things business, finance and investing focused. So let's begin. Let's be honest, सैलरी आती है, महीने के 25th तक पता नहीं पैसे कहाँ चले जाते हैं. एंड इट्स नॉट इवन लाइक कोई मेजर इंसिडेंट हुआ हो जिसकी वजह से अकाउंट खाली हो जाता है. एंड ऑल्सो इट्स नॉट इवन लाइक वी आर बाइंग एन आईफोन एवरी सिंगल मंथ. स्टिल poof, gone. I asked a well-known financial coach, Mr. Sanjay Katuria, about the thing that impacts most retail investors. How do we manage our salary? He actually told me something that is so obvious, you'll think कि यार ये मैंने पहले क्यों नहीं सोचा. Visible money gets spent. And by visible, I mean anything within reach. That is the entire problem. He found a solution that barely takes 20 minutes to set up. 3 bank accounts. Account 1 is the warehouse. Your salary lands here. It's not connected to UPI. So you can't even like spend it impulsively. Account 2, investments. On the first of every month, before rent, before groceries, before anything, this is a fixed month that moves away. That amount gets invested as SIPs. This money just has one job: to grow. Account 3, expenses. Your last 3 months average spending. This is the only account on your phone. When it's empty, that's it. That's the end of the line. उसका कुछ नहीं कर सकते अब. Whatever's left in the first account, that is the warehouse. That is your emergency fund. This you can put in a liquid fund. Here's how I personally look at it. One can have at least 2 different bank accounts plus one investment app. That's where you can do all of your investments and transfer the money to that. Okay, now salary is sorted, but before we talk about where to invest, can I ask you something? अगर market 40% crash करे आज, what's your first instinct? Is it panic? Is it to sell? Because if yes, you're not ready to invest, not yet at least. The one quality every expert I spoke to kept coming back to is patience. Basically, the ability to watch your portfolio go red and do absolutely nothing. An IIT Madras professor, Dr. Pattu, actually spoke to me about how he invested in June 2008. Global financial crisis hit immediately after that. So, for 5 years straight, his portfolio was only red. His family told him to stop investing, but he didn't. In fact, his only thought was, it's not like I'm retiring tomorrow, so I shouldn't stop the SIPs. Dude, if I were in his position, I would be so scared. But fast forward to 2013, the market picked up and compounding did its magic. He made more in 1 month than his entire annual investment. You know, this actually reminds me of the scene from The Office. Another interesting point that he spoke about was the 30-minute rule. We basically need to design our portfolios in a way that we just have to look at them for 30 minutes. Not in a week, not even in a month, but a year. 30 minutes a year. For this, he automated everything. Asset allocation, emergency fund, SIPs. One day he opened the app and he saw he'd already hit his FIRE number without even realizing it. So this might seem boring for a few people, but it's also super practical. I mean, he was basically just suffering from success. Salary managed, investments on autopilot, patiently. But what about the secret hole in the account? I'm talking about taxes. It's like the unskippable ad of the finance world. Doesn't matter whether you hate it or like it, you kind of have to sit through the process. So I asked CA Nitesh Buddhadev to help me at least make the pain of tax optimization a little bit easier. And he actually said he knew a way to pay zero tax on 24 lakh rupees income. First time I heard it, I was like, ये झूठ है या जुगाड़ है? What he told me was open section 44 ADA, presumptive taxation. So there is a certain list of eligible professionals in India. You can see them on the screen. These people can claim 50% of their income as expenses. But by the way, just calling it out, this only applies to specified professionals that are operating in an independent capacity. So if your income is 24 lakhs, half is 12 lakh rupees. This is what's taxable income. Balance 12 lakhs are your expenses. And under the new tax regime, what's the tax rate for income under 12 lakhs? Well, it's 0%. You got it right. इसमें भी कुछ terms and conditions हैं जो screen पर होंगे. But once you cross 20 lakh rupees, the GST registration kicks in. Most freelancers at this point just start panicking. But don't, because CN Nitesh pointed out the silver lining, which is input tax credit. That MacBook, that phone, that monitor that you were buying anyway, once your GST registered, those just get 20% cheaper. The government refunds the GST you paid on business equipment. Okay, अब बात करते हैं where do you actually invest your money? Here's what most people do. They open their investing app, they search best stocks in 2026 and buy whatever their colleague recommended at lunch. I know. We have all been there. Gurmeet Chadda, managing partner and CIO of Complete Circle, gave me a very simple checklist. The MILES framework. M for margins. Is the company actually making money on each sale or just selling more for less? He gave the example of Maruti. It sold a record-breaking number of cars in 2006. But the stock did nothing for 7 years. That's because India was moving towards premium vehicles, whereas Maruti was still building affordable hatchbacks. लोगों को चाहिए था पनीर मखनी, लेकिन वो दे रहे थे दाल चावल. I for innovation. Is this company making itself harder to replace every year? How much are they spending on R&D? Is that figure increasing year on year? L is for learning. Are the promoters or the people running the company still hungry to grow? Read the management section of the annual report. You'll understand that in just 2 paragraphs. E is for ethics. He recommended that even if you have 1% doubt about the ethics of the person running the company, that is a red flag. It doesn't matter if you're making money in the short term. To understand this, study who the promoters are. S is for scale. This doesn't mean how big the company is today. It means how big are they trying to become, and does the market that they're operating in even have the potential to accommodate that growth? Okay, so investment check. Now time for the uncomfortable truth. हमने अपने पेरेंट्स को देखा है पूरी जिंदगी अपने बच्चों के लिए लगा देते हैं, whether it's school, college, शादी. एक मिडिल क्लास फैमिली में एक बच्चे को रेस करने का खर्चा पता है कितना होता है? 3 to 6 crore rupees पूरी लाइफ टाइम में. I know, even I was shocked कि I was this expensive for my parents. और फिर वही पेरेंट्स एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि बच्चे उनका ख्याल रखेंगे. Sometimes that works and oftentimes it doesn't. Not because children are ungrateful, but they have their own EMIs, their own kids. Life starts lifing. Gajendra Kothari, who co-founded Etika Wealth, said something that hit different. If you have 2 children, imagine you actually have 3. Your 3rd child is your retirement investment. Whatever you invest in your real children every single month, invest the same amount for yourself. 24 years के लिए. That becomes your retirement corpus. So in future, when your real children have their own lives, your 3rd child will be there to support you. I don't think it's selfish advice. It might even be the only advice that actually works. कोई भी बड़े लेगेसी कॉन्ग्लोमरेट के 2nd या 3rd जनरेशन के बच्चों को देखो. जस्ट एज देर एंटरिंग द जॉब मार्केट, दे हिट द ग्राउंड रनिंग. कोई लोन नहीं होती, एंट्री लेवल जॉब भी नहीं होती. देयर जॉब इज टू बेसिकली ग्रो व्हाट दे ऑलरेडी हैव. फॉर एन एवरेज मिडिल क्लास इंडियन, वो स्टोरी कंप्लीटली अलग होती है. एंड मिस्टर मनीष जैन, हु इज अ वेटरन इन्वेस्टर, पॉइंटेड दिस आउट. ही फेल्ट मोस्ट पेरेंट्स पूरी जिंदगी पैसे बनाते हैं, लेकिन जब देयर ओन चिल्ड्रन आर स्टार्टिंग आउट, उनको भी 0 से शुरू करवाते हैं. एंड आई गेट द इंटेंशन. दे वांट कि उनके बच्चे भी थोड़ा स्ट्रगल करें. दे डोंट वांट थिंग्स टू बी हैंडेड आउट ऑन अ सिल्वर प्लेटर. लेकिन why not give them a small head start? Instead of अपनी inheritance उनको 50 की एज पे देना, they've already lived half of their lives at that point. Instead, in their 20s or early 30s, imagine उनके startup idea के लिए उनको seed funding देना. Just an idea. I'll leave this here for you to think about. Okay, so we spoke about giving your children a financial head start. Manish sir had said you can give them a head start in their 20s. But Mr. Basant Baheti, who is also an investor with nearly 30 years experience, he takes it even one step further. He didn't even wait for 22. He started at 12. He told his son in 6th grade, "Beta, no matter what you study, you won't take a job. You will become an entrepreneur. Wealth will go to people who actually build things." So at age 18, his son Rituraj actually became a licensed insurance agent, because nothing teaches you how to communicate and persist like a stranger saying no again and again. All of these are traits that are important for any good startup founder. Whatever he earned from the commission, every single rupee went into stocks. And the one rule that Basanji told him was, buy something that you're okay with holding for 25 years. Just don't sell it. So that way, when he wants to start his own venture, he's already built himself his own seed funding. Honestly, for me, this was not just finance lessons but life lessons, a whole different perspective. अब तक हमने बात की है सैलरी मैनेज करना, पेशेंट रहना, टैक्सेस बचाना, सही स्टॉक्स को ढूंढना और ऑल्सो बच्चों के फ्यूचर को सिक्योर करना. बट एक चीज जो मैंने नोटिस की, हर एक्सपर्ट का पैसा लगाने का तरीका बिल्कुल अलग है. सो आई आस्क्ड देम ऑल, व्हाट इज योर एसेट एलोकेशन? 5 एक्सपर्ट्स, 6 डिफरेंट आंसर्स. और सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग बात, ऑल ऑफ देम वर राइट इन देयर ओन वे. एक तरफ मिस्टर बसंत भाई gave a very interesting framework, which is of course 100 minus age का rule. If you're 25, put 75% of the money in market. That too he focused on small cap and mid cap stocks. Maximum he picked 10 companies. He personally never invested in large cap stocks. Gold सिर्फ इंश्योरेंस के लिए, रिटर्न्स के लिए नहीं. दूसरी तरफ there's Dr. Pattu. He had 65% equity mutual fund and stocks, but almost entirely they were large cap mutual funds. 35% was fixed income. His logic is very different. Define your goal first, then decide where to put the money. His approach is more conservative. Two people, both deeply experienced, both with very strong track records. One avoids large caps entirely, the other almost exclusively invests in them. That difference in thought tells you something very important, that asset allocation isn't just a formula. It's actually a reflection of your temperament, your time horizon, and what you're trying to actually build. Somewhere in the middle of the spectrum comes Mr. Gurmeet Chadha. 85% core stocks, companies he will never sell. These are high quality businesses that are from stable sectors. 15% is tactical. You're buying specifically to sell when the time is right. No single stock ever crosses 10% of his portfolio. Gajendra ji does the same thing but through mutual funds. 72% equity, 23% debt, but that debt isn't lying idle. It's dry powder waiting specifically कि जब market crash होगा तो वो lump sum deploy कर पाएंगे. मनीष जी का portfolio सबसे अलग था. That portfolio was engineered to generate cash flow every single month, even during market crashes. उनके FDs were pledged as collateral, so when market crashes and everyone freezes, he deploys instantly. And if you're a beginner, he had a very simple formula. Let's say you have 30,000 rupees का surplus, उनको 3 part में divide करो: gold, bonds and equity. The point I am trying to prove is that there's no one best strategy, but which is the one that actually sounds like something that will fit for you. वो introspection आपको करना है. Okay, अब वो advice जो हर finance video में सुनते हो, SIP या lump sum. Most people say कि SIPs करो, disciplined रहो, don't try to time the market. And ये सही है, पर पूरी कहानी नहीं है. Gajendra ji said something most people won't. According to him, mathematically, lump sum always beats SIP. उनका logic बहुत simple है. If the market is higher in 15 years, every next SIP installment buys the same fund at a higher price. Gajendra ji's SIP started at a NAV, which is net asset value, of 17 rupees in 2010. Today, it's 186 rupees. This is for the same fund, but 11 times more expensive. So why does everyone do SIPs? Cash flow, that's it. He didn't have 5 crore rupees in 2010. He just had 5,000 rupees. Gurmeet sir divided it based on profession. अगर आप salary profession हो, then SIP is best. It guarantees that the money gets invested. लेकिन अगर आप एक freelancer हो, case in point, SIPs will fail you. Invest a lump sum every time you get paid. Dr. Pattu made his own third option. He manually invests every month, increasing that surplus every month. He felt that a fixed automated SIP creates an illusion that the job is done. Lekin when there are fluctuations in the market, you can manually change that amount. SIP wins on discipline, lump sum wins on math. Manual SIP wins on both provided you have the habit to follow it through. In sub mein, which is the option that you can honestly sustain, is the only question that actually matters. Okay, last one. And honestly, this is the one that hit me the hardest. I didn't just ask these people for ways to invest. I asked them, what did you go wrong with? Well, Dr. Pattu, the same prof who taught us that patience is super critical and that he learned through 5 years of a red portfolio, he said that he made a classic rookie mistake when he started out, which was to select funds based on the star rating of the fund. You look at the last 3 years of returns and you pick the fund at the top of the list. It took him years to realize the flaw buried in that logic. Star ratings rank funds by recent past performance, and recent past performance has almost no predictive power over future returns. The 5-star fund of 2018 is frequently the 2-star fund of 2022. What he'd built was a portfolio that performed well before he bought it, not after. When he eventually compared those active funds against simple index funds over the same period, most had underperformed. Not because the fund managers were incompetent, but because the fees, the churn, and the hot money chasing had collectively worked against him. The most boring option had won. Mr. Manish, the same person who told us to give our child a financial head start, his real estate story is the one that we all know someone in our friends and family has probably gone through. Relatable Ultra Pro Max. Early in his career, career, he bought 2 service apartments. Then the builder suddenly went to jail for 6 to 8 years. As a result, the builder delayed possession for 8 years. What did that mean? Years of productive capital just reduced to waiting. Mr. Sanjay Katoria, the man who designed the 3-account system for us, his regret is one of the most unusual ones. It's not connected to he held a stock too long or a property decision that went wrong. It's about something all of us kind of ignore and scene zone. Throughout his career, he invested roughly 5% of his income into himself. Into courses, into skills, into books. He now believes that number should have been 15 to 20%. His reasoning is straightforward. Skills compound, a better skill set leads to higher income, which in turn leads to more capital to invest. That compounds further. I'm sure this is math that all of us understand. Point being that all of us make mistakes, even folks who manage crores today. The only difference is that the wisest folks learn from others' mistakes. Most people will watch this video, find it interesting and do nothing. The difference between the person who retires at 45 and the one who can't afford the hospital at 60 is not intelligence. It's not even luck. It's not even money. It's whether they acted on what they knew. I'm just going to leave you with that thought. That's all for today. What's a financial lesson that actually hit you the most? Comment below. This is Arunima Rao signing off. Until then, stay curious.